The MOXXI'S Heist is just around the corner, and you're going to want to make sure you have the proper build. Today, I'm going to be sharing you guys my best ZANE build for the MOXXI'S Heist DLC. This is LaserBolt, and welcome to today's video, guys. Today, we're going to be talking about the best build you could run for ZANE with the new MOXXI'S Heist DLC. Now, this build is going to do a couple things for you. Not only is it going to give you survivability, it's going to give you a ton of damage, and it's pretty much going to make you unkillable. Now, that sounds like something you guys are definitely interested in. A like rating would be greatly appreciated, so do me a favor, drop a like and share this video with friends. But without further ado, let's dive into the build. Alright, so now let's dive into the skill tree. We're going to start off with the undercover tree. And we're going to be dumping 5 points into Adrenaline, Satan's increased action skill cooldown rate, which is going to be really important. This is going to allow us to have our action skills very active and frequently. The majority of the time when we're running this particular build, we're almost always going to have our Sentinel up and we're always going to have our Barrier up the majority of the time. Next up, guys, we're going to be dumping a total of 5 points already for action. It's going to improve our shield recharge rate. So that means whether our barrier is down and we get shot, our shield's going to be able to regenerate very effectively. Then we're going to be dumping 5 points into Brain Freeze. This is going to give us the advantage of when we score a crit hit chance. It's going to give us a chance to slow down the enemy and also freeze them, making this build very important for crowd control and allowing you guys to target specific enemies and having able to kind of slow them down from actually approaching you while taking care of other sets of ads that are probably around the vicinity. Next up, guys, we're going to be dumping 2 points into Stiff Upper Lip. Whenever ZANE is damaged, he gains damage resistance against the damage type. So this is going to be pretty much for survivability purposes. The reason we dump 2 points here is just because we want to make sure if we are getting shot that we're avoiding any sort of element extra damage as imposed to us. So next up, guys, we are going to be dumping 1 point into Confident Competence. What this is going to do, it's going to increase our gun damage, and it's going to give us a little bit of accuracy since we are going to be using pistols as our kind of our primary weapon. We're going to be running the Maggie. This is going to be very important because it's going to provide that nice accuracy with the hand cannon. Then we're going to be dumping 1 point into Best Served Colt. What this is going to do, it's going to give us a kill skill, and it's going to create a Cryo Nova whenever we kill an enemy. So it's really important. It doesn't proc very often, but when it does, it's actually pretty lethal due to the fact that if there is a lot of enemies around you, it's going to go ahead and produce that Cryo Nova and also freeze them. Next, guys, we're going to be dumping 1 point into Futility Belt, and this is going to give us resistance to non-elemental damage, which is quite important. And then last but not least, in the undercover tree, guys, of course, we're picking up Call, Cool, and Collective. It is really effective. Now, as you guys already should know, or unless you're new to the game, any weapon, it doesn't have to be a cryo weapon, is going to be able to proc this, which should make it a very viable option for you guys since we're running the Maggie. Next, guys, let's go into the double agent trees. Now, for the double agent tree, guys, we're running Synchronicity. Whenever one or more Saint's action skills are active, he gains increased gun damage for each active action skill. Really important because we want to tap into that gun damage. Then we're going to be dumping a total of 5 points into Borrowed Time. It's going to increase our action skill duration. So that means our Barrier and our Sentinel are going to be active more frequently than they currently should be, which is pretty much helps us keep our Sentinel and our Barrier active almost indefinitely. And last but not least, in a double agent tree, we're picking up a Donnie Brock. And this is another kill skill, and that happens whenever we kill someone, we get increased gun damage and health regeneration. Really important because since we are going to be killing a lot with this build, it's going to be very important to get that 19% gun damage and get that 3.1 health regeneration, which is pretty cool. And last but not least, guys, we're going into the Hitman tree. For the Hitman tree, we're dumping 5 points into Violent Speed. This is going to make us go a lot quicker than we probably can. And the reason why this one is so important is because the faster we go, the more gun damage we're going to do because we're going to be dumping 5 points into Violent Momentum. What this is going to allow us to do is our gun damage is going to increase when we're moving. The more we move, the more gun damage we're going to be able to output. Next, we're going to be dumping 1 point into Drown Delivery, and this is going to allow our Sentinel to fire a grenade, which our grenade is going to be proccing a couple things based on the anointments we have, which we'll talk about once we get into the gear. And last but not least, 1 point into Death Follows Close. Another kill skill, it just increases the effect duration of our that we currently have. Now we are picking up the other kill skills thanks to our class mod, and we'll talk about that once we go into the gear. Now, once we go into the gear, I do want to remind you guys, if you guys would like to get a copy of this build for freezies and not have to worry about having to get everything that I'm going to show you guys. If you're on the PC, let's try to get this video to 100 likes. If we do, we'll go ahead and upload this build for you guys. Now let's jump into the gear. All right, so now let's take a look at our gear. Now for our gear, we are running the following, guys. First, we're running the Maggie. And we have the anointment while Sentinel is active, gain 50% bonus cryo damage. Really important for the MOXXI'S Heist. Cryo damage is going to be your best friend. Trust me when I tell you guys, you're not going to regret getting this build together for the MOXXI'S Heist. It's going to make it a breeze. You guys are going to go really fast with this one. The reason why this one is so important is because, remember, we are using Coolum Collective, so we're going to be proccing that cryo and that freezing ability. In addition to that, guys, since our Sentinel is active the majority of the time, I'm going to say out of the whole time you're going to be playing, it's going to probably be active 90% of the time. So that Sentinel is, while it's active, get 50% bonus cryo damage, is going to be almost active every single time. So it's going to be very important. Miss Maggie is a very good weapon and a hard hitter. Next up, guys, we are running the Arctic Nighthawken. This is a really important weapon. Now, the reason why you want to have this weapon in your inventory is because what allows us to keep our action skills active all the time is that every time we freeze an enemy, we're going to be able to reset our action skills. So it's going to allow us to get our barrier back and our Sentinel back. So what you want to do is you want to be paying attention to when the bars of the Sentinel or the bar of the barrier is about to get depleted. Switch over to your Nighthawken. And this is going to allow you to freeze the enemy, allowing you to reset the the action skill cooldown rate, and then you can go to another weapon that you so please. We have this on cryo, really good weapon. Now there are other weapons you could probably use here, but these are like the best ones I want to recommend, specifically for the MOXXI'S Heist. The next weapon I want to recommend for the MOXXI'S Heist is the Popular Redistributor. Really important weapon. This is very similar to what we have with the Brainstormer. The only difference with this one is that this is an SMG. And this is a corrosive damage. So the good thing about this one is that since there are a lot of yellow bars in the MOXXI'S Heist, what this is going to allow you to do, it's going to allow you to shoot one bot, but have that 7-shot ricochet, which allows you to do damage to the other bots that are around you, allowing you to do a ton of damage and get rid of a bunch of enemies for really good crowd control, if you ask me. So I would highly recommend you guys definitely get this one. The last weapon we're going to be taking a look at, of course, this one's also with the Sentinel. All of these are with Sentinel. The last one we're going to be taking a look at is the Cutsman. Actually, not the last one. I have one more to mention. The Cutsman. And this one's going to be primarily only for when you're fighting bosses. So if you're fighting a boss that has a big yellow bar, this is when it's going to allow you to take it out really, really fast. Not only that, but on top of it being corrosive, you're going to be getting that 50% bonus cryo damage every time you're using this against an enemy because your Sentinel is going to be active almost every single time. The other weapon I do want to mention is this one, the Brainstormer. Really effective, guys. Once again, this one also comes with the Sentinel Cryo. And if we do get this video to 100 likes, I will be including this one as well for you guys to just play around with. But a really effective weapon, and it fares well with the whole MOXXI'S Heist. Now, as far as shield, of course, we're going to be going with our Transformer. Our Transformer is really important due to the fact that it's the best shield out there, I would say. Out of all the shields out there, this is kind of like everybody's main go-to shield. Not only is it really viable, but it's really effective because if you ever are in trouble and you just want to restore your health, all you got to do is apply shock to yourself and you'll get that you'll get your shield back. Now, the anointment I have on here is on action skill, and the next two magazines will have an additional bonus corrosive damage. I only do this when I feel like I'm fighting a yellow bar. I'll let my barrier run out, and then I'll go ahead and proc this, and then shoot my Cutsman. That's the only reason I run here. Now, if you feel like you're not going to be able to remember that, I'd probably go with the Sentinel gain 15% speed, because since our Sentinel is active all the time, and if we move faster, we're going to be doing more gun damage. It just ties in perfectly. Then, next up, guys, we're going to be taking a look, of course, at our class mod. I'm running the Cheap Shot Executor. Now, this is really important because it pairs perfectly with my hand cannon. So, weapon damage plus 25. Jacob weapons critical damage plus 45. So, that means we're getting a total of 70% weapon damage just on the Maggie alone, plus the extra 31. So, it's 101 damage with the Maggie, just by running this class mod alone. So really would recommend you guys definitely try to get this build, or try to get this particular class mod. Let's get the video to 100 likes and we'll share this with you guys, because really, really effective. Now for our artifact, we're running the Safeguard. The only thing I would switch here Because I would probably try to look for one instead of having a slam, having one that says, I think I might actually have it. Hold on. No, I don't. Okay, having one that says when you kill a badass enemy, something like that, because the slam, I'm not going to be using the slam that much, so, or at all in general. But the main reason we're running this one is because of the flavor text, increased damage against frozen targets. Since we are going to be freezing a ton of enemies, we are going to want to make sure we're proccing that. The next thing we're going to be taking a look at, of course, is the recurring hex, and this one comes with the action skill. Whenever our action skill ends, our text 2 magazines will have an additional cryo damage. Now, this actually stacks up with the corrosive damage, so you'll be able to do corrosive damage, and then you'll be able to do cryo damage when your action skill ends. Once again, the reason I'm doing this is because I'm proccing this when I'm shooting bosses. I'll let my barrier run out and then take advantage of these two traits right here from the shield and from the grenade. And there you guys have it. That's pretty much all the gear you're going to need for the MOXXI heist. I hope you did find this video helpful and informative. If you did, do me a huge favor, guys. Drop a like, share this video with your friends, and don't fear if you're running on a Flag, Bowser, ZANE, or a Amara, because I will have builds for those characters as well. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next video.